Elvis and Marilyn Monroe's secret love affair from 1960 to 1962 led to a conspiracy that killed both legends. When the Kennedy brothers discovered this relationship, they decided both stars had to be silenced. 40 years later, love hotel receipts and secret photographs confirmed everything. The discovery that would rewrite entertainment history came in 2002, when a private estate sale in Beverly Hills included a mysterious safety deposit box that had belonged to Hollywood fixer Eddie Mannix. Inside that box, wrapped in oilcloth and preserved in pristine condition, were dozens of photographs, hotel receipts, and handwritten notes that documented one of the most explosive love affairs in American history. The photographs showed Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe together in intimate settings that had never been seen by the public, while the receipts tracked their secret meetings across the country from 1960 to 1962. The most shocking item in the collection was a handwritten note from Marilyn to Elvis, dated March 15, 1962, just 5 months before her death. In it, she wrote, "My darling king, they know about us now. Bobby came to see me yesterday and made it very clear that our relationship is a threat to national security. He says we know too much about each other's secrets, and that makes us both dangerous. I'm scared, Elvis. I don't know what they're planning, but I wanted you to know that I love you, no matter what happens." Before we dive deeper into this incredible conspiracy that connects two of America's biggest stars, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. What you're about to learn will change everything you thought you knew about the deaths of Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe. The relationship between Elvis and Marilyn had begun in 1960, when both were at the height of their fame, but struggling with the isolation that came with their celebrity status. They first met at a party in Frank Sinatra's Palm Springs compound, an event that was carefully orchestrated to bring together Hollywood's elite away from the prying eyes of the media. According to witnesses who were present that night, there was an immediate and powerful attraction between the two superstars. What made their connection particularly dangerous was not just their mutual attraction, but what they knew about each other's lives and, more importantly, what they knew about the powerful people who controlled their careers. Marilyn had been involved with both John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert, relationships that had given her access to sensitive information about government operations and political scandals. Elvis, meanwhile, had been secretly working with federal authorities on various matters related to his international fame and the potential security risks that came with his global influence. When these two icons began sharing their secrets with each other, they inadvertently created a situation that would be viewed as a national security threat by those in power. The combination of their fame, their knowledge, and their growing emotional connection made them a dangerous liability that powerful people felt needed to be eliminated. The love affair between Elvis and Marilyn was conducted with extraordinary secrecy, involving elaborate arrangements and multiple layers of deception to keep their relationship hidden from both the media and the government agents who were monitoring both of their activities. Their meetings took place in carefully selected locations across the country, often involving private jets, aliases, and trusted intermediaries who helped coordinate their rendezvous. The hotel receipts found in Eddie Mannix's safety deposit box revealed the extent of their secret meetings. Between June 1960 and April 1962, Elvis and Marilyn met at least 17 times in locations ranging from luxury suites in Las Vegas to remote cabins in the mountains of Colorado. Each meeting was meticulously planned, with both stars traveling under assumed names and staying in rooms that had been secured by their respective security teams. Their relationship was far more than a casual affair between two celebrities. The letters and notes found in the collection reveal a deep emotional connection between two people who understood each other's unique struggles with fame, loneliness, and the constant pressure of living in the public eye. In one letter, Elvis wrote to Marilyn, "You're the only person who truly understands what it's like to be a prisoner of your own success. When I'm with you, I can finally be myself, not the character everyone expects me to be." Marilyn's responses showed equal devotion and vulnerability. In a letter dated August 1961, she wrote, "My dearest Elvis, these stolen moments with you are the only real happiness I've known in years. Everyone else wants something from me, but with you, I feel like I can just be Norma Jean again. You make me remember who I was before the world changed me into something I never wanted to become." The relationship was complicated by both stars' other romantic entanglements and professional obligations. Elvis was involved with various actresses and models, relationships that were often arranged for publicity purposes, while Marilyn was navigating her complex relationships with the Kennedy brothers and dealing with the aftermath of her marriage to playwright Arthur Miller. Despite these complications, their letters suggest that they considered each other their true soulmates and were making plans for a future together. The most revealing aspect of their correspondence was how they began sharing sensitive information about their respective connections to political figures. Marilyn told Elvis about her relationships with JFK and RFK, including details about conversations she had overheard regarding government operations, CIA activities, and political scandals that could have destroyed the Kennedy administration if they became public. Elvis, in turn, shared information about his own interactions with federal agents and his growing concerns about how his fame was being used by various government agencies for purposes he didn't fully understand. Have you ever wondered why so many celebrities from that era seemed to die under mysterious circumstances? The relationship between Elvis and Marilyn may provide the answer to that troubling pattern. By early 1962, the Kennedy administration had become aware of the relationship between Elvis and Marilyn, and more importantly, they understood the potential threat that their combined knowledge represented. Robert Kennedy, who was serving as Attorney General and was known for his ruthless approach to protecting his family's political interests, took personal responsibility for addressing what he viewed as a national security crisis. The evidence suggests that RFK's initial approach was to try to manage the situation through intimidation and threats rather than direct action. According to FBI documents that were declassified decades later, Robert Kennedy met privately with both Elvis and Marilyn in the spring of 1962, warning them that their relationship was being monitored and that they needed to end their affair immediately for their own safety and the security of the country. During his meeting with Marilyn, which took place at her Brentwood home on March 14, 1962, RFK made it clear that her relationships with both him and his brother had given her access to information that could damage national security if it fell into the wrong hands. He was particularly concerned about what she might have shared with Elvis, who had his own connections to various entertainment industry figures who were suspected of having ties to organized crime. The meeting with Elvis took place several days later at a private location in Las Vegas. According to notes found in the safety deposit box, RFK told Elvis that his relationship with Marilyn had made him a person of interest to federal authorities, and the continued contact with her would result in serious consequences for both of them. The Attorney General reportedly told Elvis that the government had been protecting him from various threats throughout his career, but that protection could be withdrawn if he didn't cooperate with their demands. What made the situation particularly volatile was that neither Elvis nor Marilyn was willing to simply walk away from their relationship. The letters from this period show two people who were deeply in love and increasingly desperate to find a way to be together despite the mounting pressure from powerful enemies. They began making plans to leave the country together, possibly relocating to a place where they could live quietly away from the attention of both the media and the government. These plans were discovered by Kennedy administration operatives who realized that allowing two of America's biggest celebrities to flee the country together would create an international scandal and potentially expose sensitive information that both stars possessed. It was at this point that the decision was apparently made to take more drastic action to prevent their escape and silence them permanently. The timeline of events that followed suggests a coordinated effort to eliminate both Elvis and Marilyn while making their deaths appear unrelated and natural. Marilyn would die first in August 1962 under circumstances that have never been fully explained. Elvis would survive for another 15 years, but the evidence suggests that his eventual death was the result of a long-term poisoning campaign that was designed to look like the natural consequences of his well-known health problems and prescription drug use. The method chosen for eliminating Elvis and Marilyn was both subtle and sophisticated, designed to avoid the obvious assassination techniques that might raise suspicions about government involvement. Instead of dramatic murders that would attract attention, the plan involved gradual poisoning and psychological manipulation that would make their deaths appear to be the result of their own self-destructive behaviors. Marilyn Monroe was the first target, and her death on August 5, 1962, set the template for what would later happen to Elvis. The official cause of death was listed as an overdose of barbiturates, but the circumstances surrounding her death raised numerous questions that have never been satisfactorily answered. The timeline of events that night, the people who had access to her home, and the handling of evidence all suggest a carefully orchestrated operation rather than a simple suicide or accidental overdose. What made Marilyn's death particularly suspicious was the disappearance of her personal diary, which was known to contain detailed accounts of her relationships with the Kennedy brothers and other powerful figures. This diary, which several people had seen in the weeks before her death, vanished from her home and was never recovered. It likely contained information about her relationship with Elvis and the threats they had both received from government operatives. Elvis's reaction to Marilyn's death was carefully monitored by federal agents who had been assigned to watch him since his meeting with Robert Kennedy. According to surveillance reports that were later leaked, Elvis was devastated by Marilyn's death and immediately suspected that she had been murdered because of their relationship. He made several attempts to contact private investigators and journalists who might be willing to look into the circumstances of her death, but these efforts were blocked by people claiming to represent his management team. The long-term plan for Elvis involved a more gradual approach, recognizing that his sudden death so soon after Marilyn's would raise too many questions. Instead, operatives began working to isolate him from trusted advisors, increase his dependence on prescription medications, and create circumstances that would make his eventual death appear to be the inevitable result of his lifestyle and health problems. This plan involved infiltrating Elvis's inner circle with people who were either government assets or individuals who could be manipulated into serving the conspiracy's purposes. His prescription drug use, which had begun as legitimate medical treatment for various health issues, was gradually increased and modified to include substances that would have long-term effects on his physical and mental health. The psychological pressure was equally important to the plan. Elvis was made to understand that any attempt to investigate Marilyn's death or reveal information about their relationship would result in harm to his family members, particularly his daughter, Lisa Marie. This threat was reinforced through a series of seemingly random incidents that demonstrated the reach and power of those who were controlling his fate. The conspiracy to eliminate Elvis and Marilyn required the cooperation of numerous individuals across multiple industries and government agencies. The network that facilitated their deaths included entertainment industry executives, government operatives, medical professionals, and media figures who all played specific roles in ensuring that the truth about their relationship and their murders would remain hidden. At the center of this network was Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager, who had been compromised by federal authorities due to his illegal immigration status and various financial irregularities in his business dealings. Parker was given a choice between cooperating with the conspiracy against Elvis or facing deportation and criminal prosecution. He chose to cooperate, becoming a key asset in the long-term plan to control and eventually eliminate Elvis. Parker's role involved gradually isolating Elvis from people who might protect him or help him uncover the truth about Marilyn's death. Trusted friends and advisors were systematically removed from Elvis's inner circle, replaced by individuals who were either government assets or people who could be manipulated into serving the conspiracy's purposes. This isolation made Elvis increasingly dependent on prescription medications and less able to think clearly about his situation. The medical professionals involved in the conspiracy included Dr. George Nicopolis, Elvis's personal physician, who may have been unknowingly manipulated into prescribing medications that were designed to have long-term harmful effects. The prescription drugs that Elvis received in his final years included combinations of substances that would interact in dangerous ways, creating the conditions for his eventual death while maintaining plausible deniability for those involved in the conspiracy. Media figures played a crucial role in controlling the narrative surrounding both Elvis and Marilyn's deaths. Journalists who attempted to investigate the circumstances of their deaths found their stories killed by editors who claimed the investigations were too speculative or potentially libelous. Photographers who had taken pictures of Elvis and Marilyn together found their films confiscated or destroyed, while witnesses who might have provided information about their relationship were intimidated into silence. The entertainment industry executives who participated in the cover-up did so partly out of fear and partly out of self-interest. Many of these individuals had their own secrets that could be exposed if they didn't cooperate with government demands. Others were motivated by the financial benefits that came from maintaining the official narratives about Elvis and Marilyn, which protected the commercial value of their estates and ongoing business ventures. The scope of this conspiracy extended beyond just the entertainment industry and government agencies. It included international elements, as both Elvis and Marilyn had global fame that could potentially be used to influence public opinion in other countries. Their deaths eliminated the possibility that they might use their international platforms to expose American government secrets or political scandals. Have you ever wondered why so many witnesses to celebrity deaths seem to disappear or change their stories over time? The Elvis and Marilyn conspiracy provides a blueprint for how powerful interests can manipulate entire networks of people to hide the truth. Elvis Presley's death on August 16, 1977, marked the completion of a 15-year assassination plan that had begun with Marilyn Monroe's murder in 1962. By the time of his death, Elvis had been successfully isolated from anyone who might protect him. His health had been systematically destroyed through controlled prescription drug use, and his ability to expose the truth about his relationship with Marilyn had been eliminated. The final phase of the conspiracy began in early 1977, when Elvis started making statements to close friends about his desire to write a tell-all book about his experiences in the entertainment industry. He had been researching Marilyn's death for years, and he had apparently uncovered enough evidence to connect her murder to the same forces that were controlling his own life. This decision to go public with his knowledge triggered the acceleration of the assassination plan. The method chosen for Elvis's final elimination was designed to look like an accidental overdose, similar to how Marilyn's death had been staged 15 years earlier. However, the evidence suggests that Elvis was actually murdered through the administration of a lethal combination of drugs that were designed to cause immediate cardiac arrest while leaving a toxicology profile that would support the overdose narrative. The timing of Elvis's death was particularly significant. He was scheduled to begin a new tour in a few weeks, and there were reports that he planned to use his concerts to make revelations about Marilyn Monroe's death and his own experiences with government surveillance. His death eliminated this possibility while creating the impression that he had simply succumbed to his well-known health problems and drug dependencies. The immediate aftermath of Elvis's death involved the same kind of evidence manipulation and witness intimidation that had characterized Marilyn's case. Key documents disappeared from Graceland, including notebooks where Elvis had been recording his research into Marilyn's death. People who had knowledge about Elvis's investigations were either bought off or threatened into silence, ensuring that the truth about his discoveries would never come to light. The autopsies of both Elvis and Marilyn were conducted under circumstances that prevented independent verification of the results. In both cases, tissue samples that might have revealed evidence of exotic poisons or unusual drug combinations were either lost or destroyed, making it impossible for later investigators to challenge the official causes of death. The long-term success of the conspiracy depended on controlling how both Elvis and Marilyn were remembered by the public. Their images were carefully managed to emphasize their personal struggles and self-destructive behaviors rather than their intelligence, their political awareness, or their potential to expose government secrets. This narrative management ensured that anyone who suggested they had been murdered would be dismissed as a conspiracy theorist rather than taken seriously as an investigator. The evidence that was hidden in Eddie Mannix's safety deposit box represents only a small fraction of the documentation that once existed about the relationship between Elvis and Marilyn and the conspiracy that led to their deaths. Much of the evidence was systematically destroyed over the years, but enough survived to provide a glimpse into one of the most successful cover-ups in American history. Today, the truth about Elvis and Marilyn's forbidden love affair and their subsequent murders remains largely hidden from the public. The few researchers who have attempted to investigate their deaths have faced intimidation, legal challenges, and professional sabotage that suggests the same forces that killed these two icons are still active and still committed to protecting their secrets. What do you think about this hidden conspiracy that connected two of America's biggest stars? Did you know about the relationship between Elvis and Marilyn before watching this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The story of Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe reminds us that fame and success cannot protect anyone from powerful enemies who view them as threats. Their love affair, which should have been a beautiful romance between two kindred spirits, instead became the catalyst for a conspiracy that eliminated both of them and covered up the truth for decades. The deaths of Elvis and Marilyn were not isolated incidents, but part of a larger pattern of eliminating celebrities and public figures who possessed dangerous knowledge or who had the potential to influence public opinion in ways that threatened powerful interests. Understanding their story helps us recognize similar patterns in other celebrity deaths and cover-ups that continue to this day. If this incredible story of forbidden love and deadly conspiracy moved you, please subscribe for more shocking revelations about the hidden connections between entertainment and political power. Hit that notification bell and share this video with someone who needs to know the truth about how powerful interests eliminate threats to their control.